So what we decided to study this semester was how temperatures affect the activity level of squirrels, more specifically how the colder temperatures in fall and winter affect them. Eastern gray squirrels are diurnal by nature, meaning that they are active throughout the day. However, squirrels are very tolerant of the cold, but not so much of the heat. In the fall and winter, as temperatures begin to drop, squirrels are seen foraging throughout the day to intake more calories for the winter. As for the hotter summer days, squirrels tend to avoid exposure to extreme temperatures. To do this, they forage earlier in the mornings and later in the evenings and preserve their energy throughout the day. In the months of August and September, squirrels forage for around 11.5 hours a day, and in the months of November to January, they forage for only 4.5 hours per day. So after doing some research, we started wondering that if we did our own experiment, would the results show that eastern gray squirrels show higher activity levels in the colder winter months opposed to the warmer summer months? We hypothesized that eastern gray squirrels will have higher activity levels during the lower temperatures than the higher temperatures. The hypothesis was evaluated behind the towers at Bridgewater College. We recorded the time, date, temperature, and how many squirrels we observed. We observed the squirrels' behavior in the morning and in the evening when it was the coldest. While doing so, we kept track of their activity levels by counting how many times we saw them foraging for food. We considered a squirrel foraging if they picked up food from the ground. Our goal was to observe the squirrels before sunrise at 5:30 a.m. for an hour and after sunset at 8 p.m. for an hour. The dates that we recorded our data was from October 30th to November 15th. We also observed the squirrels from a distance to avoid any human disruption.
So this is our collection of our data. I'm going to allow for this slide to go by for 30 seconds so that everybody can take a look at what we found. It's separated between data gathered at 5:30 in the morning and data gathered at 8 p.m. The timeline is from October the 30th through November the 15th. And in the following slides, we will see the interpretation of this data through graphs. So here is our first graph. The data represents both different groups, the AM group and the PM group, and it tells us the number of squirrels that there were at certain temperatures. As you can see, from the AM group, there is a higher number of there are higher numbers of squirrel data in colder temperatures compared to the PM group. Here is another interpretation of our data. You can see the number of squirrels observed versus the time that they were watched while foraging. So here's another interpretation of our data. This time it's measured in the range of temperatures from low to high and then the frequency of that temperature. As you can see, the frequency of squirrel foraging behavior was a lot more common between 22 degrees and 31 degrees Fahrenheit compared to 42 to 48 degrees Fahrenheit. So you see the significance between the temperatures that squirrels were seen foraging for food.
The results of our study showed that significant levels of activity were viewed at the early hours, specifically when the temperatures were the coldest. Our results did support our hypothesis that squirrel activity would be higher at lower temperatures opposed to higher temperatures, though our study only focused in the mornings and in the early evenings from the month of October to November. So with further research, we would include the year-round observations and in the mid-afternoon to better support our hypothesis. Though our hypothesis can be supported by research done by a group of researchers in Pennsylvania who observed the effects of temperature on eastern gray squirrels and discovered the same results as we did.